Hey, it's Foxy Cabbage. We're going to do something new and different today. You guys know how crazy I am talking about nutrition, health, and personal finance and how all of those things are interconnected. Well, I want to share something with you guys today that I made for school. Yay! I'm in two graduate programs right now. One of them is a master's in public health at Eastern Washington University, and the other one is global sustainability with a concentration in food security and sustainability at the University of South Florida in Tampa. And in that second program, I got to take a class last semester called Systems Thinking, where we talked about the interconnectedness of systems and modeled that using some visual representations. It was a little hard for me, I got to be honest. I had to learn some new software, which, I'm getting a little old for that nonsense. But I'm a very mathy person. I always have been. And it was really cool to me to be able to see some of these things in a visual representation right on paper. I've been saying forever that food, health, and personal finance are all connected. I feel like there's a nexus, there's a point where the three of them all come together. And systems thinking, and specifically this software called Vensim, actually gave me the opportunity to kind of put all this down on paper or on my screen. So I'm looking forward to the opportunity to share it with you guys today. What do you think? Sounds good? All right, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys so you can see what I'm talking about. Zoom, what is that? Look at this. That's kind of cool, right? So you can see at the top of the diagram, I labeled it community food sharing because I've been working on this internship for about the past 6 weeks, a little more than that maybe. Uh, and I've been working with an organization called the Portland Fruit Tree Project, which is essentially a urban gleaning organization. What we do is we have people who live in the Portland metro area who have fruit trees in their front yard, backyard, parking strip that are just full of fruit and it's too much fruit and they can't handle all the fruit. So what they do is they reach out to Portland Fruit Tree Project and say, "Hey, can you guys send some volunteers over here maybe and pick this fruit?" Portland Fruit Tree Project sends over some volunteers, harvests the fruit off of the trees, and goes ahead and donates that food to the local food pantries to feed people in need. This is extra cool because it's not just preventing food waste, but it's also putting food into the mouths and into the bellies of people who really need it the most. Now, a lot of that fruit is awesome, just right off the tree. It's A grade fruit. It looks good, it smells good, it tastes good, it's ready to go. It goes straight to the pantry. But some of that food is B grade. It's bruised, it's got a little bug in it. It's not really looking good for sale. It's not like something that you would expect to see at the grocery store when you were shopping. So that B food we take back to our kitchen in the community center and we process that food into value-added products like taking grapes with seeds and turning them into grape juice or grape jelly because nobody really likes grapes with seeds. I mean, they're a novelty for a couple of minutes and then, oh, all these seeds. There are going to be 4 seeds in one grape. So we take care of that, turn them into value-added products that people actually want to eat, and it prevents an incredible amount of waste and, gets that food eaten. So I've had so much fun with this internship, and it has reinforced so many of the things that I knew already and that I really care about as far as sharing food within communities, sharing food with our neighbors, building connections with our neighbors, building connections within communities, and doing these things that we need to do to survive. So back to my beautiful diagram. I've got at the top community food sharing because that's on my mind right now. But that goes out from there, you can see heading down to the right, community food sharing connects with an arrow to waste reduction. It's a little tiny print, but you can see it, right? Oh, can we zoom in a little bit? Maybe we'll zoom in. How hard is it to zoom in? All right, that's a little bit easier to see now that it's zoomed. Now we can see community food sharing has an arrow that's leading into waste reduction, and that arrow's got a little plus by it. And that plus shows us that as community food sharing increases, waste reduction also increases or improves. We are reducing more waste by doing that. And that one has an arrow leading into local food availability. Kind of see where this is going? As waste reduction increases or improves, local food availability also increases or improves. From there, we're heading down a little bit. As local food availability improves or increases, we have increased access to nutritious food. Down from here, it starts to get a little bit hairy, and we're heading into some of these loops. So we have access to nutritious food leading into nutrition quality. We've got improved quality in nutrition, improved quality in nutrition for all of the people who have that access to the food. And this heads into a beautiful loop here. Nutrition quality gives us increased health status, increased energy and motivation, and increased skills and knowledge, leading back to even more nutrition quality. So in the middle of that loop, you can see there's a tiny little R with a circle around it that shows us that's a reinforcing loop. This is one of those situations where it reinforces itself. As one thing increases, the next thing increases, which increases the next thing, and it just keeps getting better and better. And those things exist in nature. In nature, we have a difference between reinforcing loops and balancing loops. You guys know I'm a nurse. My background is in nursing. And so this is something that I'm very familiar with, both from nursing school and from practice, which is a lot of things in the body are balancing or self-regulating. Things like your temperature, right? When you start to get too hot, your body's like, oh, let's chill down a little bit. You can start to get too cold, and your body's like, oh, let's warm up a little bit. Your body is working to maintain that balance and get you right in that sweet spot at about 97.6, right? So that's a balancing system within our body. We also have reinforcing systems in our body, like that loop we were just looking at in the diagram, where as something gets bigger, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. One of the things that we have like that in our body is when you form a clot. When you get a cut in your skin, your body sends cells to form a clot there. And when your body sees that it's sending cells to form a clot, it sends more cells. It's a reinforcing response. It says, oh, you need clotting? We'll do more clotting. The other classic example of that is when a woman is going through childbirth. When a woman's having contractions, it tells the body, oh, we're having contractions. Now let's have more contractions. And that builds and builds and builds upon itself instead of balancing. You don't want the body to say, oh, I had a contraction. I better stop that. No, you don't want balancing there. You want reinforcing. So the same thing in nature and in natural systems, we're going to see this difference between balancing loops and reinforcing loops. So right there between nutrition quality and health status, we've got a beautiful reinforcing loop. It's looking good. But not everything on the diagram is going to be reinforcing. Some of them will be balancing because there are going to be elements that come into the system that keep it from, spinning out of control, right? So going down a little bit from there, let's take a look and see what else we've got down here. So you notice that we've got some blue lines and some red lines. Those blue lines are positive polarity. That's when a variable, an increase in one variable leads to an increase in another variable. So every time we have that happening, we've got a blue line on the diagram. The opposite can also be true, of course. So we've got those red lines showing where there's a negative polarity between two items. So from health status to healthcare costs, we've got a red line and there's a little minus symbol showing that there's a negative association between those two. As health status increases, you always start with the first one increasing. As health status increases, healthcare costs decrease. So we've got a negative association between those two. And then same thing, healthcare costs to financial stability. As healthcare costs increase, financial stability decreases, right? So we've got red lines connecting those. And then we can see that there is a reinforcing loop that connects health status, healthcare costs, financial stability, and going up to access to nutritious food. So when we think about these things as one loop that's complete, we have financial stability going up, access to nutritious food going up, nutrition quality up, health status up, healthcare costs go down, and as healthcare costs go down because that's a negative association, financial stability goes up again. Hey, look at that. Those are all those things I've been thinking about. Nutrition, health status, and financial stability all in one loop, all showing as one gets better, the other one gets better, and the other one gets better. There's so much more stuff on this diagram that I really want you to be able to look through it yourself and just see the awesomeness that's in there. I'm not going to go through every little line with you because I don't want to bore you to death. You're not in grad school, or maybe you are. My apologies if you are. It's stressful, isn't it? Anyway, enjoy the Vensim model. Enjoy thinking about these things and the way that they're interconnected. Thank you for spending a few minutes with me today and letting me talk to you about this thing that you know is so near and dear to my heart. Link is in the comments for the Vensim model so you can take a close look at it. Thank you so much for watching. Have a super awesome day. Bye. Like and subscribe. Yay!